All right, Drew, we're back as Division agents, heading all the way back to New York.
Awesome.
Analysis complete. Aaron Keener. Status: Rogue.
Nate, you and I jumped back into the world of Division 2, Warlords of New York DLC. Now, I teetered off way long ago in the Division 2, got so far, and I thought I felt like I hit a wall, and I was just like, I don't feel like grinding, man. And the way the enemies at the time felt, they were like bullet sponges. Happy to say, coming back into the DLC, we're now bumped automatically to level 30, so that may play a little factor into this, but I don't feel like the enemies were how they were in the previous version of the game. Now with the DLC out, I actually felt like when I shot somebody, they're actually getting damage and then passing, right? Like they're dying off, and I was able to kind of continue on. I feel the DLC moving forward for the Division 2 was a great addition and actually pulled me right back in.
Oh man, so with the addition of 4 new enemies and a whole new map where we finally get to kind of revisit the southern side of Manhattan.
Yeah,
so
that's cool.
We kind of get a couple of those touches from the first game, but still have some new, so that's awesome. But in addition to that, they've actually revamped all the armor and weapon, kind of just fixed it. Like, because like you said, when we played it, I was, impressed with Division 2. I played a lot of Division 1, grinded out too much.
Yeah.
Thought I might get back to it with Division 2 at launch. Didn't really hook me, but my goodness, with the Warlords DLC, they have hit this game out of the park. It is refined and just perfect, man.
It's fine-tuned is what I really kind of think it's gone for now. And to get back in and build my agent to where I feel like I want to pursue and specialize my character into is really, really good. And then the bad guys are still there. Like, if I go out solo, I feel like it's still the Division to me, right? So if you're not really into the Division, this might pull you in, but at the same time, it might not, because if you're going solo, it's crushing you still.
It is. So, like most games, unlike most games, this game offers this sort of call for help system.
It does,
so anytime you're in an activity, you can simply push a button or you launch a flare or whatever, and then it distresses a thing in your server or whatever, so people can just quickly hop in with you. I've hopped in with people, helped them finish their missions. I met a couple really cool people that hopped in with me and helped me out. And even expanding upon this, they actually have a whole Discord kind of thing where there are over thousands of people there on there just willing to help out newcomers, new people.
Which is cool.
It is really cool. They have a really thriving community to kind of go along with this.
Because I think if you jump in fresh, you are really lost. Because I don't feel with going with the DLC that it introduces you enough to the story, to the mechanics of the game, and how to really kind of delve in and dive deep within the game that you can with the Division 2.
Yeah, the ability to skip to level 30 is great for, your friends who already are at that point. They're like, hey man, pick up the game. And then, so to be able to do that, they did do a good job, but it is overwhelming.
Very.
But now, honestly, like most of these looter shooters, you do need to do some research. You can't just kind of be expected to understand how the armor and all the weapon works. But like I said, they've refined it, and it's a lot less complicated than when the game launched. It definitely is a lot more simple, but not, but still has lots of depth.
Yep. I like the environments too. Now that we're more outside, where I felt we were really kind of inside a lot of the time, so now it's kind of a good mix. And the variety too that we're into and traversing is just mind-blowing, man, and it looks beautiful.
Like, I love Destiny, and a lot of their things are beautiful settings, and Division has done that, man. And it's hard when you're just playing in a rundown city, but they did a great job, man. Flooded areas, construction sites, they just somehow did a good job on making every mission actually feel different and look different. So the campaign itself it takes place about 6 or 8 months after the original Division 1 campaign.
Yeah.
And it actually stars one of the main antagonists from the original game, Aaron Keener. So basically, you're kind of like Ghost Recon Wildlands. This is what this reminded me of, surprisingly.
Yeah, it sure did. Yeah,
but you have kind of these little enemy leaders or mini leaders.
Yep, like
they
mini
have
boss.
to take mini bosses. They
Yep.
have to take out, and then once you've kind of done that through gaining intel through side missions to then
Yeah.
kill them, you then get the main guy.
But those mini bosses,
Oh man,
they're so tough, dude.
those
They're
missions
so
are
hard.
incredibly tough. That's another thing too.
Yeah.
It's not just point, shoot, and click.
No.
You know, it's
Try and
actually like
flank and
a
use
little
your abilities,
puzzly.
and then
Teamwork is huge.
is essential for creating or beating these bosses, because when they start coming out and you're getting swarmed from one side and then the other side and then the other side, it's like, where do you go in some of these spots, right? So all 4 of us were hooked up, man. When we were playing, it was brutal. I don't know how many times we actually died. It was like, oh, I couldn't believe how difficult it actually kind of was at the time.
But ultimately, once we had our skills kind of evenly worked out, I
Yeah.
went this route, you went that route.
Yeah.
It really felt like a perfect 4-player co-op experience.
It's awesome. Nate, our time with the Warlords was a good time, actually.
man.
I was quite impressed. What are you scoring this?
And so I'm completely hooked, like I said, although there's no raid right away. It's
Yeah.
coming shortly for
Future
free.
thing. Yep.
And this game, just all the rework that they've done to make this really excellent, clean looter shooter, it's getting a 9 for me, man. This DLC is great.
I'm a little bit lower just because I felt like coming back into it, I needed a little bit more guidance for me. Somebody who's not more kind of in that genre. So yeah, I needed a little bit more help. Turned to you, got that help, so I appreciate that. But at the same time, I want a little bit more from Ubisoft coming out of them to help newer players get involved in the game. I'm there with an 8.5.
Warlords of New York fixes many issues and problems that the Division has had over the years and is merely a perfect looter shooter experience. Lots of lore, cutscenes to flush out the story, a revised armor system, and tons of activities. Revisiting Manhattan has never been better.